We come to this place for magic, to the Riot Games arena, to laugh, to cry, to care. Because we need that, all of us. That indescribable feeling we get when the lights begin to dim and we go somewhere we've never been before, not just entertained, but somehow reborn, together. Dazzling images on a huge LED screen, sound that I can feel. Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Our players feel like the best part of us, and stories feel perfect and powerful. Because here, they are, the LCS. We make playoffs better.
Welcome back to the LCS waiting room. It's finals weekend, the final 2 days of the LCS this year, and we have a tall guest.
Yeah, we do.
But a special guest. You were with us last finals as well as Van. How are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be down there for the finals, but it's fine. I'll take this as well.
I'll make the joke everybody else made as well. You made it to finals.
Oh, no.
It's like that image of the dog around like a house on fire. It's fine. It's fine. Remember that meme, the dog in the house on
this
fire?
is fine.
Yeah, exactly.
This is fine, yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look at the bracket to see how we got here today. As you can see, Busio and the rest of FlyQuest arriving a little bit earlier. They'll be playing 100 Thieves today, which was not what we expected.
Not at
as
all.
they took down C9 3-1 after we spent the entire split calling it a 3-team league.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really fun watching actually with APA and Inspired on the desk as 100 Thieves were doing it. I think the biggest shock obviously is C9 falling out, but congrats to 100 Thieves. I thought they played really well, and more importantly, they played to kind of this style and these drafts that they were really comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, they've been playing really well so far, and I'm very surprised they beat C9. I thought after we played against them, I was like, okay, if you go 5 games with Dignitas, surely you will lose to C9, right?
Did it
guys?
make you think that it was closer than you thought it was to actually be here and to go to Worlds?
Yeah. I was like even more sad when we lost after the C9 loss because I thought, wow, we were 1 game away from making Worlds. I mean, I know it doesn't work that way. Like, if we wouldn't have beaten C9 necessarily, right? That's not how it works, but it made me feel like, wow, it was actually closer than I thought it was.
It's pretty crazy because at least with 100 Thieves, they've always, at least during the regular season, they looked bad.
Yeah.
They looked bad. They needed a change. They ended up doing so, bringing Tomo. I know these are things that we're going to be talking about, but the fact that they had made such a substantial growth from the start of playoffs to here today is crazy. And I don't think we have enough time to be able to talk about it how it kind of needs it. It deserves kind of the attention.
Yeah, there's been so much discussion about the C9 versus 100 Thieves series, and you can see these are live shots right now. They're very early, doing their initial setup on stage, trying to get accustomed to the environment that they're going to be playing in. But it's also, as an org, not the first time that they've been here. There's actually been multiple different, almost full different iterations of 100 Thieves that have made it to this point.
Yeah, I mean, in 2018, there was the Afro Moon Meteos elements of it with Someday that was kind of leading the charge. And then there was the FBI and Closer element. There have been many iterations of 100 Thieves. Those are the 2 iterations that we saw in finals, and we're seeing them again when we least expected it.
Yeah, and I think this current iteration of 100 Thieves is really interesting. You mentioned Tomo coming in, also pulling from NACL talent pool with Sniper, with Tomo, and with Quid, who's coming over from LCK Challengers late last year. The biggest thing to me with this roster is not only do they lack experience with their fresh players coming in, I feel like they've done such a good job of making sure that everyone knows their role on the team and drafting around it.
I think it's been really interesting for me to watch this team develop because they jumped out to such a good record in spring. Then a lot of people thought they were frauds when they fell in playoffs, and especially when they went 1-4, only to have the rebound at the very end when they absolutely needed it. They needed to win their series in the last week to even make it into playoffs, and the journeys of the actual individual players couldn't be more diverse.
11.
It's actually insane when you think about it, then.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think about. One guy was 11 years old, one guy was playing in a different region from here.
And here's the total experience of the 100 Thieves players in major region experience. River could definitely be higher if we included some of his LMS time, but this does actually show a little bit of the veteran and new player look, Emily.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to note here is that since this is a major region, it's not including all of those PCS titles that River has. So River actually does have significant finals experience and also has gone to internationals before with his team. So just wanted to point that out because it's not a major region. And now here you see the ages coming in. It's actually really interesting. People think, oh, 100 Thieves is this super young team, but they have a veteran in River and they also have kind of a veteran in Eyla as well because of his experience in the OPL.
Yeah, but at least being having the experience to be on a stage like this, that's what matters. And I think that has always been the question mark for me. Is like I doubted them, yes, the actual play that they've had during the regular season, but also just because of not having been in playoff situations before. But I think the coaching staff has done an incredible job at being able to make them comfortable throughout, honestly, this whole year. Building them comps that make them comfortable and also leading them to this point. So, big heads up to them.
Yeah, and we also promised we were going to talk a little bit more about the upset between Cloud9 and 100 Thieves. And Sven, since we didn't get to hear from you after that game, how did they win? How did they upset C9?
Yeah, I don't know either. Still haven't figured it out. I mean, I watched the games and I still know. Okay, I do know, but I think C9 had both bad play and bad drafts. I feel like they weren't playing to their identity, which was the biggest downfall that they had. I think the obvious one side is the SIGs, the MF, the LeBlanc, even the Ivern. It doesn't feel like C9.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of just lost their confidence as well after 1 or 2 games. It felt like they were not playing nearly as well in game 3 and 4 as they were in game 1 and 2. In game 2, they were ahead as well when they lost, I think. So just C9, their own worst enemy, it looks like.
Yeah, and I always wonder what it is in a player's perspective when you lose the series prior. Because I got to see some of the interviews, the Berserker interview with Ashley Kang as well, and a lot of it comes from like you lose confidence bits and pieces in the series prior, and then suddenly you start questioning everything. You question your draft, if your read is even accurate. Of course, this is a nod from Spawn, the Team Liquid head coach, to 100 Thieves' coaching staff, saying that they deserve to be the coaching staff of the split, which they respond saying, no, you should be coaching
staff.
But like that's a nod saying, hey, the fact that you guys were even able to beat Cloud9 kind of proves all the work that you guys put together.
Yeah, and I think the big thing where that coaching staff has come in, Golden Glue talked about how he spoke to Quid one-on-one because he felt like they'd struggled with very similar things. And then one day Quid was like, no, I got it. Like, I've gotten over my stage nerves. Thank you, Grayson. We're good. And really started popping off in spring. I also do think when I've disagreed with 100 Thieves drafts, it's also been really hard for me to argue that they weren't picking it for the specific players on this team, right? Which I think has been a consistent of them from spring to summer as well.
Even that Game 5 draft playing Yasuo when it didn't look like it was going to work
Sven
until...
is like, no.
until it did. But one thing about that Spawn tweet, saying one of the greatest upsets in LCS history made us curious because I think it does depend when you started watching LCS or how recent in your memory certain upsets are. So we actually polled the LCS Discord of if this was the greatest upset of all time in LCS history. It did actually narrowly win this vote. Sven, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm in 2 of these and I don't like it.
I mean, the bottom one was only 6%. Clutch over TSM.
I feel like the clutch gaming versus TSM is like less of an upset than when we didn't make Worlds in 2020 C9, but yeah.
I also think there's some extreme recency bias.
Okay,
there's one that didn't even make the list.
Take your recency bias out of this and tell me your top pick.
I would have done the FlyQuest win over Cloud9 in, I think it was like 2020 playoffs when you guys were the super team. And you guys had done incredibly well during the regular season. In the playoffs, there was a bit of a drop-off. I thought that one was, for me, like the biggest upset.
So yeah, I was thinking about that one too. I think the reason why it didn't end up on here is because it was more gradual, right? Like, but that was a really big surprise just because, Sven, you guys were so dominant in that spring
Were.
and in the beginning. I feel like we're just
Wait, we're just bullying him.
I know.
We're so glad you
feel
came.
bad.
It's fine. I can
Thanks
take
for being on the desk, buddy.
Yeah, just getting punched.
Constantly.
I do like it, actually, with how when we look at an upset, so much of it is colored by what happened after the upset in terms of if 100 Thieves actually did go on to, say, 3-1 this game and then 3-0 tail in the finals, you'd look back and say, man, they really just got a hot streak. It would still be one of the most improbable runs to finals, but
true.
the individual upsets would be different.
Yeah.
In the same way that when FlyQuest beat C9 back in 2020,
Yeah.
it's not remembered as big of an upset because everyone just remembers TSM winning that whole split.
True.
So it's an interesting thing. I can understand why it won the Discord vote for now, and it still feels like an amazing upset, but I wonder when we run that poll the next time what happens.
And also, even thinking about it now, God, the Evil Geniuses win over Team Liquid in 2022 finals weekend, that one was insane. But after the fact, people were like, well, they weren't even really a super team. Like, after the fact, people are saying they're the actually crowd. But at the time, that was ridiculous.
Berserker's been falling off for years.
Super team until they lose.
Yes. So I felt like that one when they beat down the Bjergsen, Bwipo, Hansama lineup, that was crazy.
Yeah.
And the fashion that they did it was insane too. Because even I remember the individual details of that moment. The Baron regenning HP just as the Danny Pentakill happens.
Yeah.
Team Liquid leading that series up until that point. That one was a crazy memory.
And I think part of that crazy memory was the fact that it was one of the first live events we'd had in years.
Oh, true.
The stadium adding the energy to the moment, and then that moment, in some ways, propelling them throughout the rest of the weekend to win. Which brings us to 100 Thieves versus FlyQuest.
All right, give it to me.
Can they do it again? Actually is going to be the question we have throughout the whole day.
You know, one thing that's super interesting with this matchup for me is you think like 100 Thieves, they're coming in, right? Like they lack experience, they're the young team, like Sniper is so young. They actually slightly have a higher average age than the players on FlyQuest, which I thought was very interesting. But then if you swap it to actual experience in terms of how many games they've played in major region playoffs, again, Rivers is a lot more because LMS, PCS is in kind of that weird spot when he was on PSG. But you see where the experience difference is coming in, especially with their top side, is like buffing that average up a ton.
That's the thing. When you look back, it's kind of insane in terms of both the careers of Bwipo and Inspired, because they both came in immediately, both rookies of the split in the LEC. Inspired had already won like an MVP in LEC before even coming to the LCS, so people immediately respected his shot calling, his game knowledge, and what he has already done in the short career that he's had. So like, a lot of the times you think experience from FlyQuest side and inexperience from 100 Thieves side, it's not about ages, it's just about what they've done in their career thus far.
Yeah.
How do you think about that, Sven? Experience versus age. I almost feel like the experience is the number that matters way more than the age.
Yeah, I might be old in esports terms, but I think age doesn't really matter in esports.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we have like LeBron in the NBA. He's like what, pushing 40?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think like what he's
And
doing
that's
takes
a
a bit more physical condition than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I feel like age doesn't really matter. Experience does, however, matter, especially like on stages like these. So
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
So if your AD carry was 47, would you think it's fine as long as he's smurfing?
I mean, hey, like
I think you should.
yeah, I mean,
but
I mean, that brother's got a family or something. I would start questioning what he's doing in his life, but honestly, like if he's still committed to the game, then bless him.
And here's the FlyQuest roster journey we showed that 100 Thieves had as well. And this is what illustrates the experience point. Massu and Busio only recently having actual color next to their points on the timeline, and Bwipo having years and years on Fnatic before coming over here to North America.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to point out slightly is Quad's journey, just because he also started really young. He actually lied about his age to get on that DRX squad with Keria, so he could be playing. But then he actually retired for a bit because of the stress of being a pro gamer, came back on Nongshim, as he mentioned in his own interview, was 9th before then joining FlyQuest Challengers for this year.
I wonder what the conversations between Bwipo and Massu kind of have to be like, or Busio, because Bwipo started his career 2018 into instantly 2 LEC championships. And he's like, what happened during your time? Oh, I was in middle school.
one guy was in World's Final, one guy was in middle school. Yeah. One guy was it turn 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, turn 15 for Busio. Like,
I mean, he also would have been in or high school.
Yeah.
Middle school or high school, depending.
And that's a conversation ender usually. You start with like, oh yeah, some of the greatest points of my career. What about you? It's like, yeah, homework.
Playing some Pike,
Yeah.
looks like, in practice tool.
Yep.
Getting ready.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might also just be playing League of Legends.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it.
Sniper also had his brother playing League of Legends. Here's a look at FlyQuest's overall finals history as well, though. It is interesting because I think a lot of people forget, especially the 2020 spring and summer, that they finished back-to-back second, which was actually the most successful FlyQuest yearly run that they've ever had. And then they've shot up and gotten pretty close a couple of other times. The Prince roster last year in 2023 spring. And I think at this point last split, FlyQuest might have actually been the favorites to win the whole thing before finishing second.
Like, you talk to the owner, the GMs, especially in the last few years, like they are hunting for that championship. And it's crazy to see the history of FlyQuest of how close they've been. That Santorin solo Power of Evil team, like they were that close. And even though it was during COVID times, and there's some hilarious stories about like Wild Turtle needing to switch from like needing to drive to a new place so he can finish the finals. Yeah. Some stories like that, like they were that close. They're investing a lot. They really want it. This could be that moment. So I'm interested to see if they can finally clinch it for the organization.
Yeah, and I think part of how they got here, part of how a lot of the teams got here this year is different than the old story of just trying to find the highest priced free agents and stacking your team full of superstars, because 8 of the 15 finalists that are going to be here this weekend, this includes Team Liquid, who is playing tomorrow as the 15 players that are here, have actually been promoted from the NACL or the NA Challenger scene, which I think is a really nice development for the scene.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting to me, even if you look at Team Liquid with like Jan having been on 100 Thieves Next all the way back in the day. Yeah. So it goes across like all 3 of the teams here, with 100 Thieves essentially keeping Quid and then adding River and then the part of the DSG prior roster. And then additionally here we have the most recent NACL alumni in Quad coming up from FlyQuest Challengers, Massu, Busio, Sniper, Tomo, and Eyla. Sniper was also all the way back on 100 Thieves Next before coming up through NACL.
Sven, I feel like the quad one is cheating.
It's just too funny. Like
it's a little cheating.
LCK Academy player who played in LCK and then comes to NACL. Anytime, baby. Everyone else is completely fair, you know. So it's just funny. The
7
first
of
guy on the
15
list
is still not bad.
Yeah, it's still completely good. Fine, yeah.
I've been playing some body language police, trying to see if anyone's shaking on stage in the early setup. Everyone looks pretty calm.
Any teeth chattering in there?
They got like an hour still before they're actually playing. So.
True. Once the venue starts filling up, the volume gets a little higher.
Yeah,
the energy is going to be a little different. Let's pull up our Samsung SSD Fast 5 of the year.
Oh. Whoa.
So this is going to be. Is this the yearly leaderboard? This is not. This is last week of the playoffs. It's our final SSD Fast 5 of the year, but it's based off of last week's play.
Okay, all right. That's fair enough.
Everyone above the LCS average.
I'm thinking differently about my prediction. I'm not going to try and spoil it, but now that I see this many 100 Thieves, no, I'm not changing.
I do want if you, with how not great your predictions have been, if you just followed the SSD Fast 5, I wonder if you would have a higher rate this year. You never know.
Maybe the Samsung SSD Fast 5 should have a vote.
Remember this moment when we get to predictions, Raz. Thank you to our friends at Samsung for powering our stage PCs all split long with the speed and reliability of the Samsung 990 Pro SSD. And now it is time to send it down to Flowers, who has been at FanFest.
Ooh,
what's up, Flowers?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FanFest here at LCS Summer Finals 2024 at the YouTube Theater. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on out here. Travis is over there interviewing some people. We got some music. We got a lounge with all sorts of stuff. The teams are out here with their booths, but we're going to have even more fun here today. We're going to do a little bit of a game show. On these cards, I got some questions. These questions are about LCS and League of Legends in general, and we got some fans hanging out nearby. We're going to see if they can answer these questions successfully and win themselves some free stuff. Let's go. Let's do it. All right, all right, all right. What's going on, everybody? How we doing here today? Yeah. Doing good? Hell yes, that's what I like to hear. All right, so everybody at home, everyone here, you can see they are in a nice single line. What we're going to do, we are going to go down this line person by person. I'm going to ask them some trivia questions. If they get 5 right in a row, kaboom, you win the prize. As soon as you miss one, we're going to the next person, all right? The pressure is on. Let's go ahead and meet our first contestant here. What's your name, my friend?
Adam.
Adam, nice to meet you. Who are you cheering for here at Finals Weekend?
100 Thieves.
100 Thieves. All right, going for the underdog. Okay, Adam, let's go ahead and get this started, all right? We're going to dive into the history books a little bit for question number 1. Adam, can you tell me which year did the LCS start? 2009, 2011, 2013, 2014?
2013.
2013, Adam, that is correct. You got 1 point on the board.
Been there since then.
You got 1 point on the board. Let's go ahead and see if we can get you some more, huh?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Adam, I have 1,200 gold. Which item can I afford? Seeker's Arm Guard, Tunneler, Needlessly Large Rod, Spectre's Cowl.
Spectre's Cowl.
Spectre's Cowl is incorrect, Adam. It was the Tunneler. Spectre's Cowl used to be 1,200. It is 1,250 in its modern incarnation. What is your name?
Angie.
Angie. Okay, Angie, who are you cheering for here this weekend?
100 Thieves.
100 Thieves got some representation out here today at FanFest. All right, Angie, let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about going back to base. Champions channel their recalls over 8 seconds. How long do they channel an empowered recall for? Empowered recall being the buffed up one from a Rift Herald or a Baron. Is it 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, or 5 seconds?
I can't cheat, can I? He's my no. 3.
3 seconds. I'm sorry, Angie. It was 4. Empowered recall cuts the time in half on that one. But thank you so much for playing. All right, all right. No, I'm not even going to have to ask this guy who he's cheering for this weekend. I feel like this one came in a little bit free, but I will ask you your name, sir.
My name is Justin.
Justin. All right, Justin. Let's go ahead and get into a little bit more League of Legends here. Who won the most LCS trophies? Is it Doublelift, Xmithie, Bjergsen, or Impact?
This is a good question. I think it is Mr. Doublelift. Final answer.
Doublelift is correct. The dude has won with multiple teams. He's been the reason multiple teams have won. Doublelift, one of the all-time GOATs, in my opinion, the GOAT of the LCS. Let's go ahead and get back into some more game knowledge, all right? Can you tell me, we have to see this dude all the time in pro play, so you've got to know, what is the name of Corki's Q?
Corki's Q.
Is it Phosphorus Bomb, Hextech Munitions, Barrage, Bombs Away?
It is A, Phosphorus Bomb.
Phosphorus Bomb is correct, Justin. Let's go. Okay. Let's talk about Smolder.
Okay.
What is not one of the passive breakpoints for unlocking a new aspect of his stacking?
Okay.
25 stacks, 125 stacks, 175 stacks, 225 stacks.
This is 175 stacks.
That is correct. What 175 is the only time out of those 4 he does not unlock a new power. All right, Justin, I'm gonna set you up for a home run here on number 5. All right.
Okay.
Which year was 100 Thieves' first year competing in the LCS? 2014, 2018, 2019, 2021.
If I get this wrong, this guy got me into 100 Thieves, but I gotta say, he might cringe at me, but 2018.
Justin, 2018 is correct. 5 questions right. He won the game. Congratulations, my friend. The champ here at FanFest. You love to see it. Hold on, we gotta get him a prize. Blake, thank you so much. And here you are, my friend. LCS Finals t-shirt for summer 2024. Hell yeah, one more time for Justin, everybody, please. Hell yeah.
Thank you. We are here to celebrate our 2024 Kia Rookie of the Year, Massu.
This is the guy on FlyQuest.
Massu goes on a killing spree, and the cavalry has arrived! Oh, he's looking, he cleanses it! Massu! Massu's down to 150 HP, likely to die with the flash of the ball, but Massu gets the outplay for the kill! Gets snared from downtown, and Massu now takes a step forward.
Obviously, your gameplay is already making the case for you.
Massu puts a bullet in him! No way! An Iceland 2v2! Massu with the flash!
There's a heartbreaker from X2. X2 trying to finish him off, but Massu is kiting out. Massu is still alive.
Oh! Perfectly timed arrow!
Massu, he is playing Kalista, and he is just dominating.
On the run, and Massu from over the wall comes in for the assassination! Was that Massu? How did Massu get the pin? Massu makes sure he gets the bow. Oh! He cut the tape flowers! Ooh. Bullseye! Nice shot!
Congratulations, Massu. I am here with Russell Wager, the VP of Marketing at Kia America, and you've got a very big trophy to hand out here.
Yes, I do. Thank you for having me. On behalf of everyone from Kia, I am thrilled to present the Kia Rookie of the Year Award. This award recognizes outstanding talent and the ability to make an immediate impact on the competition. Congratulations, Massu, on this great recognition and well-deserved honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Massu, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
You have had a very competitive group of rookies this year to compete with. Sniper, Thanatos really gave you a run for your money.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to be at the head of this class this year and receive this award?
It feels really good. I think I have a really good team behind me that helped me improve at a faster rate. So that was nice, but I am very happy. Yep.
Now, you have come a very long way from playing on Wi-Fi at home. You won the Most Valuable Prospect, now into Rookie of the Year, and you're already going to Worlds. But first, you have one more challenge ahead of you. 100 Thieves, you're going to be playing them on stage, and last time you played them, they did not have Tomo, who has completely changed this team. How are you feeling about your opponent today?
I would say after Tomo joined 100 Thieves, they did look a lot better. They look a lot more cohesive, and now they actually have a carry threat from other than their top side. So I expect it to be harder than last time, but I think it'll still be fun.
All right, what's your prediction?
3-0, us.
3-0, all right. Well, congratulations, Massu, once again, Rookie of the Year.
Congratulations one more time to Massu for winning Rookie of the Year. And we can talk a little bit about his trajectory as well to get to this point, Raz.
It's been pretty amazing because I remember when it was like almost certainly he was going to be put onto FlyQuest in the offseason, and the NACL guys were like, I can show you plays, I already have a document full of them. He's somebody you have to be watching out for. And throughout the year, you saw a real progression, and I feel like it was MSI when it really clicked in. The consistency was there. He was a real carry threat, and guess who decided to become a kitten for him? It was inspired as he was playing a lot of facilitating picks because of the confidence that existed within the team.
Yeah, I think it's a very well-deserved award. I think Massu had a great, not only split, but a great year. And this is a Rookie of the Year award, not just a one split award like it used to be. And I think there was no competition for it at all. I think it wasn't even close between him and anyone else.
As a former, Split Award winner in the EU LCS, Sven.
Good old days.
OG Niels.
Oh, yeah.
Who's better, 2015 OG Niels or 2024 Massu?
That one is also not close. Massu is good, but not that good.
How do you feel going up against him? Like, just because AD carry players, like, you can feel a presence from somebody in lane. And a lot of people that I talked to, they felt that.
Yeah, Massu has a lot of confidence, like aura. He's always contesting you on every menu you're fighting for. And sometimes you don't know if he's like bluffing. He's got like that kind of like vibe aura to him where it's like he hits you and you're like, is the jungler here? Nope, he's not. He's just hitting you because he wants to hit you.
Yeah.
And I mean, he is really good mechanically. I think he had a good split in spring as well, a good spring finals, a good MSI. Honestly, like given how FlyQuest did as a team at MSI, so Yeah, just overall very promising player and talent.
It's really cool to hear you say that about his laning, only because coming in from NACL, the big thing that the NACL guys stressed, and from watching his play, I also was like, okay, it's going to be his team fighting that's immediately like, he's fine in that. He's going to have to improve a lot in lane. And I think that, for me, is what is the big shift from spring to summer. He just seems a lot more comfortable in the 2v2.
Yeah, I think in spring, FlyQuest ball lane laning phase was a big issue, and I thought going into MSI that they would be exposed at MSI against the better ball lanes in laning phase, and that was kind of true. But I think they've improved a lot since then, and they're pretty confidently the second best ball lane, at least in laning phase.
Yeah.
Nice.
And if we're just talking about improvements, because I know that Massu mentioned his name when talking about 100 Thieves, yes, 100 Thieves looked so much better when they brought Tomo.
Yes.
And I just thinking about the matchup that both of these players had, Tomo's career trajectory has kind of been incredible because he has moved from Tier 2 up to Tier 1 when he was on FlyQuest, and then Tier 2 again, up to Tier 1 when he was on, yeah, exactly. From green light to go from red. And he has legitimately improved drastically as a player, and he has been a real carry threat for this team. And it's you talk to anybody on the team, you talk to the coaching staff, it's like, this guy makes it clear, he talks, he's communicating, and he's doing well in lane and in team fights. It's been a real surprise for us.
I did, Sven and I kind of chuckled at the unintentional dig that Massu did when he's like, now they actually have a carry threat that's not just top lane. But it does speak to what he's actually brought to this team in terms of giving them a whole nother dimension.
I think it's also not kind of understated how important it is for the players on top side to know that if they don't perform, someone else can pick up the slack, because the ability to think, we can win if I don't carry, is really important in pro play. You often hear players, often AD carriers and millionaires, saying, if I don't carry, we won't win.
Yeah.
So I'll make a play that isn't actually good because I have to carry.
Yeah.
Knowing that, okay, if I don't carry, Tomo will carry. Or if he doesn't carry, then I will carry. That's like a really important thing to have in pro play. Not feel the pressure to carry, because someone else can do it for you.
Oh, that's really interesting, because I thought it was going to be something like the opposite, where you're like, if I make a mistake, if I make this play, we just lose the game.
Yeah.
There's always that pressure. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like, if I don't carry, no one will carry. If I make a mistake, then it's over. You know what I'm saying? So it can work both ways. It's important to have the belief that your teammates can actually carry games if you aren't carrying them. So you don't feel like you have to do something at every point in lane. I don't have to win lane. I don't have to, like, it's okay if I'm down 10 CS. I can still win.
Yeah.
You know? You don't feel like, oh.
Yeah, and I feel like that has maybe changed the 100 Thieves playstyle as well, especially since bringing Tomo back. Because, Raz, you've been talking all year about how much this team actually fights.
Yes.
They definitely did in spring, and they were able to pick it up and have the successful fights in the playoffs and towards the end of summer.
And that's what really, I think, gave them a real winning chance versus Cloud9, because if they see an opportunity to fight, they will go for it, and they all follow up as a team. I think it's, a lot of the time, you see River going for it, and the team follows instantly, which is what I think Tomo really does add to the team, is how he ends up, I think, syncing really well with their front line.
I also pulled this fight specifically for this role because I think it doesn't necessarily go their way here. So they are a really bloody team.
Yes.
They do end up coming out on top of this, but in the middle of that fight especially, they make a lot of very risky, like, very forward-facing plays. And that is characteristic of this team, right? Like, Golden Glue has talked about how much he wants them to fight. And I think it can end up being really, really good for them or costly, but I'm super glad that they always default to this kind of aggressive play.
And I just want to explain what's on screen right now. CKPM's combined kills per minute is just how much fighting and death actually happens in your game, and it's across all of the major regions. You'll notice there's only one LCS team here. Everyone else is an LPL logo, so they're definitely well above the punching average of almost every other region save the LPL.
And I just always have to call for these stats, credit to the stats guy, Liam, because a lot of the times, you always worry. I remember it was like beginning of Spring Split.
Yeah.
They're a really bloody team. They're the bloodiest team globally. You're like, okay, let's see if that continues. And they've kept that same identity. You've heard coaching staffs like, Jake Tiberius, Spawn from Team Liquid, talk about how they always wanted to be like an LPL type of team to bring the aggression that they have from scrims on the stage. 100 Thieves does it consistently.
Oh, hey, 100 Thieves. How's it going, guys?
So there they are.
Can they see us? I'm not sure. Are they muted? They're muted.
And I think a lot of it
might be talking about something else than us.
Yeah,
like
maybe,
drafting, perhaps.
Unreal.
Perhaps.
Unreal.
How dare they?
But I do think a lot of it comes from the coaching staff really unlocking the players to go for plays.
Yeah.
If they see an angle, to go it, to kind of encourage it. A lot of the drafts feel the same. That one draft that was not great, but it was the Silas Nocturne draft. Where it was like, they will try stuff like that.
I mean, hey, they had Amumu ulti, so they were like, this can't be allowed. I'll pick Silas.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, and on the side of FlyQuest as well, a bit different in terms of their play style. They've won a lot of games by just grinding out the opponent and winning team fights late game.
Yes, late game team fights, but also I think playing through side lanes. Emily, you've talked about it, how they a lot of times will accrue gold towards their mid laner. Another aspect that I see is that they try and look for side lane traps. So this is one that I really enjoyed. That they went up against Team Liquid, and guess what? They're out of Fog of War. They're waiting for the opportunity for Impact to maybe take the bait. Umpty is in the area. But at the end, he sees it a little bit too late. They find the pick, they go for Baron. That's one instance. But honestly, in one of your plays, Emily, you talked about Busio being in a bush, just waiting for a little bit. I talked about him staying in a bush for over a minute long. They find a tempo play like this, they can really take over a game.
Yeah, and a lot of this is in service of where they're putting quad in lanes, inside lanes as well. I think especially during the playoffs, they've done such a good job of making sure they funnel gold into quad, either through lane assignments or a trap play like this, which they're going to get on to Jojo Pyun here. And that has been a level up, I think, in terms of how they've played around quad this split. And it also has, I know the Team Liquid Game 5 aside, it has also made them a very good and creative lane swap team as well.
Yeah, and one thing we haven't talked about that much is quad and also Quid. We had a joke at the start of the year that we were going to mix these guys up a lot, not knowing that they were going to be two of the best mid laners in the entire league. So we need to show some respect to Quad and Quid. We don't know the answers to these questions, but we're going to be playing a game of Quad or Quid. Let's get these questions rolling onto our screen.
Quid or Quad is better.
Yeah,
Who's played the most games on ranged AD carries this summer? I have to go with Quad.
I think it's Quad.
Yeah, it just is.
Because there was, I remember looking at this in the regular season, he only had like one non-AD carry game.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And everything, and then in playoffs he's played a few mages, but he committed. All right. You guys just followed me on that one.
No, I mean, look, before we even saw AD carries mid, I looked at Quad solo queue history, spamming Zeri. I was like, this is just going to happen.
Meanwhile, Quid, Yasuo, Timo mid, Massu.
Question, which player has the higher gold percentage? So it's the percentage of their team's gold that they get. I'm trying to think Bwipo, Massu, or I'm going Quad.
Yeah,
it could be
I think
Quid
it's Quid
because his team is worse.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's true.
Like,
let's go. Quid! Yes!
All right, I already lost that one.
Sniper had a few games where he's running it down, not getting any gold. That's going to move that.
Inspired farms the whole game.
But they had multiple.
Of course, you have low gold percentage when your jungler is farming the whole game.
Well, weirdly enough, not as much this split. Now that he's on Ivern duty.
Yeah.
He's a mix.
He's
okay,
changed, man.
third question for Quid versus Quad.
Let's see.
Which player has the highest damage per goal? Interesting. So Quid actually has lower gold percentage. Does that mean he has less gold?
I think it's going to be Quad only because
I'm going Quid.
AD carries
They have the
and
highest combined
played...
kills per minute?
Yeah, one guy fights more, one guy's more gold.
I feel bad about being the lone man out.
See.
Oh!
They
both
got
win.
us on that one.
It was a trick question.
Do I get extra?
No.
No.
Okay.
That's not how it works.
Wait, you also only picked one.
Okay. We don't care about that one.
Oh.
No, I win!
Wait, do you win?
What?
No, we win.
No, I lose.
174.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, excellent.
Get out of here. You actually lost. It was the stats guy that lied to us. So
I don't care about these guys anymore.
Unfortunate.
No, I'm kidding. Do we? I think we have one more, not necessarily quiz, but just showing the comparison between these two guys because they have been top performers. Quid won the MVP in spring, slumped a bit in summer, seems to be back in playoffs, and Quad has had this growth throughout the entire summer split.
Yeah, and here you see their shared champion pool, but then you look over at Quid, we have the Silas, we have the Yasuo, we have the Yone. His Yone is incredibly scary. The Garen, maybe we don't want to necessarily talk about ever again. Over on Quad side, we have Orianna and Aurelion Sol, and to your point, Jat, you were saying how, okay, all I've seen him play is AD champions. He came up in the LCK as a phenomenal mage player in the mid lane. So I think that's something that people really shouldn't forget in terms of mage prodigy.
I mean, Solka, I found out, stands for Solo Cassiopeia.
It does. He used to be a Cassio one-trick.
It's insane. And when we saw him in NACL, he was getting a lot of wins off of just basically his mage performance. So that's going to be the big disparity if the meta allows us, right? Because the entire split, I was pretty sad because there's this 80 carry mid, double 80 carry, maybe triple 80 carry, depending on your team. Now we get to actually see during the playoffs some changes between the champion pools. And we get to see some unique play.
Yeah, and they've both been performing really well. So even though FlyQuest lost in Game 5 to TL to drop them down to this game, Quad did something that no one in the LCS had done before, and it's a little bit lucky but also impressive. He had a pentakill, a quadra-kill, a triple kill, a double kill, and a single kill, all in the same game. It's the first time this has ever happened in LCS and major region history. In baseball, this would be called hitting the cycle. Emily brought this up when it was happening, that she thought it would be the only time, and that's a single, double, triple, and home run. Oh. You need a lot of kills to even have a chance of doing this. But then it's just nicely coincidental that this happened in his win, and I believe this one is going to be the penta to end the game, or was this a quadra? You lose track with how many kills he had in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, even when we were talking about...
This is quadra.
There it is, okay. But when we were talking about FlyQuest initially and their playstyle, yes, they team fight a lot. Their games can get really bloody, especially last split when they were going up against Team Liquid. If you're going to challenge them on the fight, they're going to take it. So you get the opportunities like these.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for me with Quad is when we first came in, when he first came in, we were kind of like, okay, he is still primarily a mage player. Is he going to be able to make the flashy plays
for
FlyQuest?
cosplay.
That is sick. Which is what they wanted, right? When they brought him onto the roster, they were like, we want him to be able to outplay his opponents. We want him to play really aggressively. And it's great to see that pay off, especially in playoffs.
And I want to talk a bit about Quid as well, because the MVP of Spring Split did seem to be a little bit ineffective towards the summer, but has really scaled up towards playoffs. Sven, what have you seen that's enabled Quid to kind of get back to that MVP?
Well, right there, he killed me with only attacks on your own. That was really impressive by him. How he didn't hit the Q3 or the ulti or anything, but just one-shot me. Well, I think Quid's been playing really well this play. I think he's the most important player together with River. I think those two guys are usually the guys that make the plays happen. I think Quid has been playing a lot of different champs, and it's a part of why they're so bloody, because he's playing so many melee champions. You just have to fight. You can't just watch the Azir stab you to death in the mid lane. You have to actually just fight the Grog, fight the Dragon. So, and a big part of it is having these melee champions. They're stronger in the early game than the mages are. So, yeah.
Yeah, and what hurt him, I think, during the regular season was when the meta was just 80 carry mids.
Yeah.
Remember, in spring, he was the playmaker that would get them out of gold holes. Like, he was playing Talia or Ari, and if they were in a deficit, he would find that play to come back. And he was primarily like a playmaker alongside River. You don't get that chance if you're just scaling.
Yeah.
So that sucked. Now he gets the chance to be able to at least do something again, so I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, AD carries are very slow and stable.
Yeah.
Thieves not a slow and stable team.
Yeah.
So the meta being different now is good for them.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting for the jungle matchup as well, and we're going to move on to that. I was chatting with Inspired on Pros last week about how 100 Thieves could even win this series, and he had a nice quote. Check it out.
I knew that River is a magician. Like, maybe he will do something.
True.
He will maybe do something, and he actually did. Like, it was crazy. He was just like finding angle after angle, game after game.
And talking to Inspired behind the scenes during this game, he was just like, oh my gosh, River is popping off. Especially on... I mean, he has a lot of respect for River. I think to your point, Sven, River and Quid were such a massive part of 100 Thieves' success in spring, and the meta shifted a bit out of their favor. But in particular, the C9 series, he was finding so many engages to set up team fights for his team.
Sven, have you ever been hit by that River gank that like you had wards ready?
Yep.
And you just don't know how he got there.
Sometimes when you're walking against 100 Thieves and he sees the ward, he will gank you because he saw the ward. He'll be like, now I'll go all the way around and gank you just because you put down a ward and I saw it. But he's a really good player, and I think a big part of like River's playstyle is playing in teams that are like quote-unquote bad or worse, like Golden Gun for example, and bringing them up. He knows how to play in a team that isn't perfect. He finds these like necessary plays that you need to make when you're losing lane or when you're not doing too well as a team. And that's a big part of why Golden Guardians made it so far, is because of River.
It's crazy because usually, especially if you're a jungler and if you're on a team that's not performing, it's really easy to look bad. It's really easy if all your lanes aren't finding openings. But like when he first joined the LCS, it was on Dignitas, and you were seeing elements of these. On J4, finding ways to move around ganks, being able to find like crazy ganks mid to get some lead, and then losing the game anyways. And then finally finding that could be able to match, I think, his speed. It's been really cool for him.
With that being said, Inspired, he seems to always be on a good team.
Yeah.
Now, is that because of the team or because of Inspired? Because this guy, all he does is win, if we look at this stat.
Not bad.
I mean, when he left Rogue, so I think he built the team as well. So it's crazy to see for somebody that joined the team, like when he was an LEC, being able to get an MVP, coming in here, being able to find those individual awards, like 7 All-Pro awards, 4 LCS, 3 LEC, Rookie of the Split, all the accolades are there for a player like him.
Yeah, LCS and LEC MVP, definitely a type of personality that can rub several people the wrong way. But if he finds the right environment, you know this guy wins, right? There was so much controversy with FlyQuest when they fell out of the finals last split. He's continued to be vocal throughout this. Quad has grown. Inspire's been incredibly supportive of Quad. And it's just, I think he's such a good, for me, personality and player to have in the LCS because of what he brings.
I also think his versatility is a bit underrated, right? Because we've talked about, CEO, full clear, like all this stuff. But I think the big thing that's been characteristic of FlyQuest in playoffs is the fact that he's been willing to lock in stuff like the Ivern, right? And joking about, all I do is lock in Ivern and meow for my bot lane. But like he is willing to play that kind of style too, right? Yeah,
That's what it takes. I've been there. I've done the same thing on Yumi. You know, if you gotta meow for your teammates, you gotta meow for your teammates.
I'm answering that call. I'm answering that call.
Expired.
That also, is a sick sign.
It is.
Is the 100 Thieves fan that said Bwipo is my dad, is he truly a FlyQuest fan?
It's possible. I mean, there's a lot of fraternity tests apparently that Bwipo has to go for.
Oh, that's amazing. Speaking of that top lane matchup with Sniper and Bwipo, Sniper, if we were to think after Spring Split, I think would have been the Rookie of the Year. Massu overtook him here in the summer. But the way this reads is it was pretty much unanimous first and unanimous second between Massu and Sniper.
Yeah, I mean, there's no contest. I think 30-0 also means that the only people that voted for Sniper is the Massu's own teammates who can't vote for Massu. That's illegal, right? So, complete unanimous.
And also, I think a lot of it was, in Spring Split, if you were to just end it there and if it was Rookie of the Split, Sniper takes that.
Like in every montage,
yeah.
I'm on the receiving end.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. And man's always feeling himself if he gets those solo kills.
I will say he had a very impressive Spring Split despite playing in a quote-unquote worse team compared to Massu. But in Summer Split, it's been all about Massu.
Yes.
It's been the Massu show the last couple of weeks especially.
And that's the thing, at least for me, is that Sniper may have done a little bit of a drop-off in summer, but at least we're starting to see that by the end of summer. By the end of summer, going into playoffs, we started to see more carry threats because Sniper was a lot more consistent in his play.
Yeah, and I think the big thing coming into is his inexperience, right? He's the youngest top laner to ever play in an LCS Finals weekend. And the big thing for him is that he's had to evolve, right? Especially in lane swap meta, where he looked incredibly uncomfortable and even spoke out about how he's like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know how to deal with this. And I do think he has improved there as well, in addition to the 1v1, which is still going to be vastly what he prefers.
And Emily, you're much better with words than I am. Is there a word for what started as like a unfriendly rivalry and became like a friendly rivalry? Is there a way to combine that into a word?
I don't know. I can't think of one.
It's what's happened with Sniper and Bwipo, though. And honestly,
What?
because he trash talked him so much.
You're calling Bwipo tsundere?
A little bit.
I mean, he was outright aggressive towards Sniper at the start of the year, saying this guy had no idea what he was doing. He's publicly flaming him that he's running it down in scrims. And then the last time that I had them on pros together, there seemed to be a little bit of actual, like, maybe wanting to mentor him along a little bit. He can take literally everything in stride, but I just really like to see, you know, today we're going to see the next evolution in their relationship.
I'm just wondering, what's the order, like little bro status and then you're his father, or how does that work?
How do you jump?
Not quite his father, but just little bro.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Bwipo's talked about it initially where he's like, he really wants to see Sniper succeed. And so he's being that harsh father. Definitely harsh.
One thing, though, about Bwipo is we have seen him change a lot in the champions that he plays. Because he had been the counterpick guy, even going back to Team Liquid. He was the counterpick guy in summer. Since playoffs happened, it's a Renekton angle.
That's a lot of crocodiles.
That's a lot of crocodiles. And the same with Sniper, too. That's the funny thing about this. But I think the biggest takeaway from this, for me, is that Bwipo, he has truly changed.
And it's not even like crocs in the middle, in between. Like, no, that's 9 crocs in a row.
Oh,
He's just become the crocodile. That's who he is.
Cursed.
The croc in the top. So if a French Renekton comes on stage, we know who it is. It's actually Bwipo.
Whoever made this graphic needs a mental check. We need to
They need a raise, Raz. They need a raise. What are you talking about?
Both at the same time.
That terrifies me.
Okay, Sven, speaking of the top lane, you got to catch up with both top laners before the series. Let's take a look at that.
Hey everyone, I'm Sven. I'm here with Bwipo and Sniper, top winners of today's match. Bwipo, my first question for you is, you talked about in a tweet recently about how you were having trouble dealing with the anxiety of playing in the finals, and that was a big part of your losses in Fnatic. How have you prepared yourself for today's match?
Well, as I've matured as a player, I think I came to the realization that just being myself and playing my own game is sufficient. I think that a lot of the time when you play a finals, there's bigger, brighter lights, there's more people watching, it's much louder, so you think that you kind of have to match that energy, you have to do more.
Yeah.
Turns out squeezing water from stone is not very easy, and it's something that I'm pretty well known for, so I think my preparation was to realize that I don't need to squeeze water from stone. I can just keep it simple and play my own game, and that's going to carry me pretty far.
Sounds good. And for you, Sniper, this is your first final ever, so you don't really know what he's talking about, but how are you feeling for this weekend?
I honestly feel really good. I think what Bwipo was saying actually about just playing your own game, just kind of just like not really, believing everybody else besides your teammates and yourself is like very important. So yeah, just playing my own game, just having a lot of fun, and yeah, we'll see where it goes from there,
Having a lot of fun. Good. How are you feeling about the 1v1 against Bwipo today?
I feel very confident, to be honest, against Bwipo. Although he is a very good top laner, I'm just very excited to play against him and just experience what it's like playing on the big stage, and yeah, let's get it.
And you?
I'm pretty excited to play. I think that, unfortunately, I'm going to have to keep the excitement down because I think the only way he can outperform me is 1v1. So I'm probably going to avoid taking any risks there, and I'm probably going to have a better performance. So at the same time, if I see an angle, I'll obviously take it. But I think for the most part, that's like the most important thing for me today is making sure that he doesn't get any individual advantages, and then it should be easy to have a greater impact on the map.
Any last words from you?
My macro's gotten better, that's all I'm going to say, so it'll definitely be a series today. That's for sure.
Thank you, guys.
Of course.
Oh, man, love hearing Sniper and Bwipo. It is time for predictions, though, guys.
Okay.
Sven, did that change your opinion whatsoever about 100 Thieves versus FlyQuest?
I will say.
It did not. 3-0?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
I just think FlyQuest is going to win 3-0. Okay, look. I also thought C9 was going to 3-0 Iron Thieves. After I played against Iron Thieves, I thought, wow, they will never beat C9. And then they beat C9. And I was like, okay, maybe they can win after all.
Chat, what the hell am I looking at?
So I had made a request for a graphic that they said they weren't going to make, so I brought my own prop.
What is this?
Well, you always got to be weird, Chat.
Is 100 Thieves. So just hold on, follow me here. Summer 2023, they were both the 5th seed. They beat the 4th seed. They just happened to be different teams. Then, Energy, they beat the 2nd seed in Golden Guardians.
Okay.
Yeah, that happened. Look what else happened. They beat the 2nd seed in C9.
Wait, you just skipped over the fact that they lost to the 1st seed.
Well, look at this, though. Energy lost to the 1st seed in C9.
Oh.
And 100 Thieves lost to the 1st seed in Team Liquid.
Okay, I'm back on track.
So everything has actually been the same, including beating the 4th seed again.
Yeah.
And you know what? There is one more thing about this, of how they are actually the same team.
Don't tell me that's
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that's to it.
I predict against them to lose the qualifier.
Oh, my God.
So I'm going to say FlyQuest 3-0.
Wait, so all of this with that?
Yeah, they're going to... It's not close.
Wait, it says 3-1.
I am not a
3-0.
superstitious person. This is proof that even if all the signs point to it happening again, I'm not going to believe it.
I want my 30 seconds back.
I got so baited about that,
I think that was longer than 30 seconds.
I was like, are you going to flip?
I thought you were going to rip my shirt and take off Hunting's jersey.
Okay, we have 2 more minutes here. I'm going to start with you, Sven. What is the most exciting thing to you about this series?
Exciting, I'm not sure, but I think FlyQuest needs to control the chaos. They need to not fistfight at the grubs early game against melee champions. Try to trade them 1 dragon for 3 grubs. That's fine. Then give 3 grubs and get another dragon. Just don't fight hard thieves at the grubs if you can avoid it, I think. That's the most important thing. Just avoid early game chaos.
I've got a problem for you. Somebody who's got a gravitational pull for fights is
will
River.
be
100. They'll pull you in. River loves those moments. The team fights will happen, and we've already seen multiple examples of it in the Cloud9 series. I think River, for me, is the person I'm excited in the most.
Okay.
Because I think he's going to perform. I like the experience that he's had in PCS, Worlds, like all of this. I just don't see nerves for him when he's on this stage. So I think he will be that difference maker.
Emily?
No one's gonna like what I'm about to say, but
Don't say
I
lane
think if FlyQuest lane swap,
You're right, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think 100 Thieves overwhelmingly want standard lanes for a lot of reasons. One of them is to your river and chaotic point, right? Because the reasons why they can make things chaotic is because of the champions they lock in and challenge you to fight around these objectives. I think lane swapping and making them a lot more dizzy on the map does stymie that early game that they want to have.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm going to watch for is just how this environment is going to affect the way these teams play.
For Tomo
because
time?
Sniper last week was absolutely buzzing about his opportunity to play his first stadium match. And then on the other side, you have someone like Inspired, who was part of that magical EG run when they had the pentakill Baron steal and managed to make it all the way to the championship. And we also have Bwipo, who has been, in your interview on social media, the last week I chatted with him, introspective, but also like very much, I've choked in finals time and time again. Whether he's going to be able to come back from that, even though today is not the final, it shares a lot of the nerves that you would get from the finals. It's the same venue, it's a big crowd, the noises are different, the stage is different. It just brings a completely different energy that I really want to see how these players, Bwipo and Sniper in particular, respond to.
Yeah, there's so many intangibles that I feel like I want to just say 100 Thieves will get blown out of the water, but I said that prior. And the entire community, there might be a few people that said, actually, I said 100 Thieves will be Cloud9. But frauds. Yes. So I don't know. It depends on how they play on the day. And for 100 Thieves, the confidence is there no matter what. So it just has to be on FlyQuest to play their best game possible.
Yeah.
I just hope the 100 Thieves don't feel the pressure of the stage, because often the bloody playstyle isn't so good in big games like these.
Yeah.
So I hope they can keep together and keep playing like they have been playing the whole playoff so far, for their sake.
I'm really excited to see this matchup. We thought, I mean, just to touch back, less than a week ago, we thought for sure it's going to be C9 versus FlyQuest. Yep. I messed up on stage during a post-series interview, just being like, so you're going to play C9 in the third place game. True. Absolutely not true, because 100 Thieves has been able to overcome it time and time again. Will Sniper get that solo kill on Bwipo, and will 100 Thieves be able to pull off an upset one more time? We're about to find out. Let's send it down to the stage.
Let's go.
We're gonna 2-0 them very easily. He kind of like stole my whole flow.
The 2024 Summer Championship is about to begin. Are you ready to meet the teams? Let's get started. Support the two-time All-Pro on the doorstep of his second finals, up against another sophomore who's leveled up to make his first championship weekend. Busio versus Eyla! At AD Carry, the FlyQuest Prodigy and Rookie of the Year, against the man who flew across the country to become the savior of 100 Thieves, Massu versus Tomo! In the mid lane, promoted from challengers, now in all-out force, versus your spring split MVP, looking to prove the doubters wrong, Quad versus Quid! Roaming the jungle, a multi-regional MVP and LCS championship against a two-time All-Pro that every LCS player fears seeing in their lane, Inspired versus River! And finally, a world finalist and top lane icon who's contended in many championships against the 17-year-old solo kill king and rookie sensation, Bwipo versus Sniper! Only one team will triumph today for a shot at the reigning champs, Team Liquid. Vamos! Make some noise for FlyQuest and 100 Thieves!
A lot of people confuse good with great. I think greatness is something you can only achieve when you sacrifice a lot. And the greats are made great because this is what they live for.
그건 저도 궁금하네요. 왜 다른 사람들이 금방 그 은퇴하고 포기하는지.
이 재밌는 걸 안 해?
이 재밌는 걸 안 해? 약간 이걸 포기하고 다른 걸 선택할 가치가 있나?
Bwipo and Impact obviously have a lot of experience over me because they've been playing for over 5 or 6 years, I think, and I've even more than that. Holy crap, okay, these guys are like freaking boomers then. I don't know what to say, you know?
Every finals I've played since 2018, I've been second place. I played 5 in total now. I also played a World Finals, and I was second as well. I don't feel too great about the finals I won. They could have played any top laner and they would have won. So I've always been trying to catch up, be the reason my team was winning, and I haven't been able to do that in a finals yet.
제가 볼 때는 결국 무너졌을 때 자기를 믿고 난 아직 잘할 수 있다 하면서 일어서는 사람이 있고 거기서 무너지는 사람이 있거든요. 무너진 사람은 좀 봤어요, 주변에서. 그렇게 일어날 수 있는 그런 정신력이 더 중요하지 않나 생각도 해요. 그러니까 저희가 여기 있겠죠.
I've been watching Impact since I was like 7 years old, and 6 LCS titles is absolutely insane. I wouldn't ever think about winning that many LCS titles as a player. Yeah, I mean, he's the GOAT for a reason, but it's not gonna happen. I can't wait to take away that trophy from Impact.
I believe myself. I still can win against anyone. I want people to remember good memory, you know, good player. Okay, not good player, great.
Best.
I don't know, maybe I can use like GOAT.
Maybe Impact is the GOAT. The thing is like, he's not done yet.
I have never played on a big stage like this before. I don't know if I'm gonna be nervous or like excited or whatever, but I just know that I'm gonna have fun.
I have to keep going. You know, I have to keep trying to get back. As much as it sucks to lose the finals, not showing up is way worse.
그전엔 잘했어도 지금은 잘하지 못하면 기억하지 못하고.
일단 저희의 잡은 이제 사람들의 기억에 오랫동안 남는 거니까.
Hello and welcome to day 1 of the 2024 Summer LCS Finals. We have FlyQuest, we've got 100 Thieves, and we are already into pick and ban. I'm Azael, joined today by Emily and Kobe for what I'm hoping is going to be a banger series.
I am excited for this one. They are on stage, they're getting into draft already, and you know it. Renekton is going to be such a big topic. Both of these top laners have been spamming it. You know, Sniper has talked about, you know, Bwipo spamming it and having 9 games of Renekton in a row. But if you look at Sniper's champion pool as well, it has been the Renekton or the Jax for pretty much everything.
Yeah, there were 8 Renektons on that champ pool comparison. We already see some. I like Fly removing the Ziggs from 100 Thieves. I feel like that's something we saw them pilot super, super well in their series against C9. And then 100 Thieves, I appreciate the Nasus ban. They don't want to pick Garen into it. They don't want to give that up to Quad.
I mean, a lot of these picks really are nods to what we've seen from the teams in the previous series. You look at the Smolder, we think back to what FlyQuest was doing earlier in playoffs with the Smolder Ivern comps, these scaling compositions. Obviously, Quid known as this melee mid lane specialist. That's the Yone ban that we've seen. It got taken away from in an earlier series where then went to Yasuo. So we know that these teams are going to be trying to fill each other out in this game number 1 for the picks and bans. And the Renekton is already locked in. And Sniper, he actually had a little bit of a prediction on this. And let's hear what he had to say.
I do think Bwipo is a... I'm just going to straight up say it. I think he's a Renekton one trick, and when I played against him, like, if he's not on that champion, you're not going to do too hot, you know? So I do feel like I actually have an advantage over him, and that although he's still a good player, I do think that, yeah, I'm going to beat him.
Well, the reality is he is on that champion, so we're going to have to see if Sniper can deal with it, because he is on the Cassante. He's playing that tank style that is really not what he is known for.
Yeah, and there's no spice here. We have seen Renekton Cassante for what feels like an eternity in professional play. Not too many surprise factors will be brought up there. And 100 Thieves, they've also gone more standard with the rest of their opening of this draft. This is going to be a pretty straightforward draft, you have to feel like, for them. With Azir being added to it, just do some front to back, has pretty good scaling. Now, Quad, though, has had very good answers into the Azir, and the Aurelion Sol was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think he looked really, really good on that champion previously.
Is this some JoJo flame?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it is. I'm thinking they're just kind of like, oh, remember this. But obviously, Aurelion Sol already locked in. I really enjoyed Quad's Aurelion Sol previously. And then also on the other side, it's, people might not remember, but when Quid first came to LCS, Azir was his most comfortable pick that he consistently locked in. We also see Inspired is still on the Amumu train.
And this is becoming the LCS special. You know, globally, it's only been picked 3 times in major regions outside of the LCS in the entire summer split. We've had series where it was pick or ban in every single game. Inspired then brought it into his next series against Cloud9, and now bringing it here to finals weekend.
And against Team Liquid as well, they did it, but TL, their Maokai priority was even higher than the Amumu priority, and 100 Thieves here. We already saw River have an amazing game on the Maokai, specifically versus Cloud9, targeting JoJo, never letting JoJo in, always just shutting him down. It's way harder to do that to Aurelion Sol, because Aurelion Sol has way more range, doesn't have to go so far in and expose himself. But Maokai is still just such a valuable pro pick because of the versatility of the champ. You have lots of range and options for your objective setups later on into the game.
Yeah, it's also really interesting, this combo of Amumu plus the A-Soul. The Amumu actually sets up really well for the Aurelion Sol follow-up damage because the E-Execute can be channeling on everyone in that ultimate. You can also throw your ultimate over top. Everyone's locked down to guaranteed be hit by that ulti falling down. A lot of bot lane bans coming through, though, as Callista's going to be banned away by 100 Thieves. Braum going to be banned the other side by FlyQuest, as they are targeting these duo lanes here.
Yeah, and I like the Kalista ban from 100 Thieves. They know that that's something that the FlyQuest really like for Massu, and they have enjoyed playing more of those lanes. We also see the Kai'Sa pick. Both of these teams have played Kai'Sa really well in a lot of their compositions, so that is also going to get taken off the table for Massu.
All right, what else are we trying to take away? The Braum was the first ban here for FlyQuest, so that makes you think that they're looking at like Leonas and stuff that would be countered by Braum in the bottom lane. Braum is so good defensively versus a lot of those melee engaged champions. And Busio's been very good as an engager for FlyQuest throughout this split and throughout playoffs. And every time that FlyQuest have gone Aurelion Sol, they have paired it with utility bottom lane, namely Ashe plus another engaged support for Busio. So I expect them to continue with this formula. So far, their drafts have been some of the most methodical drafts of the LCS. And it does look like they're continuing in the same vein.
And Massu has been so good with coordinating his Ashe arrows with the rest of the team. It's almost become a hallmark of FlyQuest as a team over their past series. I've really loved Massu on this pick, especially when you do have high damage carries elsewhere. I think they've played it really, really well. And now we'll just see what, oh no. Busio probably gonna lock in the Leona. Yep. There we go.
It gives them two strong forms of engage to potentially set up here. They obviously have the Amumu for our flash engages. They have the potential flank from the Renekton. So a lot of go buttons here. But clearly 100 Thieves, saw the writing on the wall with those first 3 picks that it could be a lot of dive coming through. And that's why I think Tomo is playing a safe AD carry like the Ezreal. You can expect him to have cleanse. I'm just going to be interested to see what Eyla brings out, if it's going to be more hard engage or something that is maybe a little bit more counter engagey that could answer what 100 Thieves want.
Ooh, a little bit of both here.
Both,
a little bit of both, and the possibilities of roaming. Ezreal's so good at being left alone in the bottom lane, fairly safe, and so you can open up some room to roam towards mid and try and get fed there.
I will say, I do really like playing Bard into carries like Ashe, who don't have any sort of a dash. You can pretty much only answer, a short, medium range Bard ult with a flash when you are playing on that Ashe AD carry. So can be pretty difficult and can also be used defensively, as you were alluding to, Kobe. If they go for that hard engage, Amumu ult comes in and the follow-up is coming through, Bard can self-ult his teammates and try to immune that ace ult damage or whatever that could be coming through.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how early we are going to see either of these supports on the map as well. Yeah, Bwipo's had a lot of requests for fatherhood lately.
Requests for fatherhood.
That's an interesting way to put it.
Are we all Bwipo's children in one way or another?
I feel like we are.
We get the up and close and personal view. Oh, hello there. Hello there. Well... Oh, we get the fist bumps too. All right. Well, game 1 draft is done. We are loading into the game here. Let's hope for an exciting one. We got some cool picks coming out on both sides. FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves here to kick off the LCS 2024 Summer Finals weekend. It's going to be exciting.
Busio Bard in game number 1 here. Excuse me, Eyla. Eyla Bard.
You're so used to seeing Busio play it.
So used to him seeing, exactly is the point that we're looking for here, because Busio has definitely been a fanatic for it. This picture, by the way, we got this off of Sniper's Twitter.
Oh, Eyla maybe in some trouble. He actually didn't hold his skill point, so he could actually just be going down. He is dead already. Walked in, leveled up the... Didn't actually just skill E to get out of there. Flashes, dies, first blood for Massu.
Just rushing into the level 1 there, and Eyla already punished for playing Bard into Busio.
Yeah, and that's going to be a really costly mistake. Now Ashe is coming back to lane with paper bags and an extra pink ward there.
I mean, honestly, it really does make jungle think about their pathing as well, as far as everyone's going to be looking bottom now, because you can definitely repeat gank towards that bottom lane. I mean, here's the walk-in.
It's just so dangerous. Like it would be fine if you didn't skill your Q, right? Like if you walk in with nothing skilled, you can just level E and go over the wall there. Sure, your level 1's going to suck, but you get out for free.
And like this is stage games right now, walking in on the big stage here with the big crowd right at the very beginning of the series. Definitely going to be a little bit off-putting, but they can just calm down and try to reorganize here. Still get back to pushing this lane. As you can see, looking for the brush positioning first.
Yeah.
This was the Discord predictions for the previous series that 100 Thieves won. Almost no one predicting for them. And again, today they come in as a big underdog. You saw on the desk, everyone is predicting for FlyQuest. But this is something they're used to at this point. They were overlooked. They were underestimated in that Cloud9 series. And we have to see how much have they learned from that series, from playoffs, and what can they bring to really make this a competitive one against FlyQuest.
Yeah, and the big thing for me is, where is River, right? Because I feel like with him, with Quid, they are kind of
on a ward.
The early game engine for this team. We see both junglers started on top side, so they both should be pathing down towards bot. But then the other big thing that's happening here is top and mid are getting absolutely shoved in.
And I mean, Inspired has a lot of respect for River. I got to watch the last series you did as well, Emily, with Inspired, when he was just talking about so much respect about how this guy can really make miracles happen for 100 Thieves, and that he's really going to have to be on his game to be tracking him in the jungle, to be making sure that River can't be taking over, because that's really the main win condition most people are seeing for 100 Thieves would be mid-jungle.
And both teams will definitely be assuming that it is going to be just full clears, down to bottom lane, fairly calm for both of these jungles. So I don't see any changes in the early jungle play until maybe second clears or even after second clears, because we mentioned there was a ward on River at Raptors, so 100% FlyQuest do know is top down for them. And that is actually going to be seen. Inspired is going to immediately go back up for the top Scuttle Crab, where he's got his pushing Renekton. He does not want to try and fight over the bottom Scuttle Crab, where 100 Thieves have their Bard plus Ezreal pushing in.
Yeah, exactly. And Bard can respond so quickly with that magical portal into the river for those types of plays. So it is just going to be that full clear for both sides. But of course, FlyQuest does have the push top, a slight advantage there, and has that benefit of the early first blood onto Massu, which is going to help to accelerate him. Make him a lot more difficult to pin down as well. I mean, you're playing against two skill shot champions here in the bot lane, so boots first on Massu makes a lot of sense. If you could dodge the skill shots, 100 Thieves 2v2 doesn't have a lot of threat.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see, again, like the big thing to me is where River and Inspired are. Inspired might be looking...
I think what he was doing there was waiting for...
Inspired's behind, and we'll see. Flash forced. And that's all he needs to get done here. Delays the base a little bit, so he is a tiny bit behind tempo on River, but gets that summoner out.
And look at the ward that he placed behind the Raptor Brush preemptively as well. Now the minion wave is coming, so you can't really get a Q through that. But he waits around, places that ward too. They were thinking about the second spawn of Raptors, but is just going to have no items and have to go into his second clear because he spent so much time there burning the flash and getting that mid advantage for Quad. It is going to mean that his second clear is going to be without purchase.
And you can see how nervous Quid is playing around this, right? You know, he's playing so far back. He knows that he could be getting attacked from either side. He doesn't have great vision. He does have one ward on that bot side that will spot Busio. But again, this is meaning he's having to drop CS here. He's down 9 CS already. There's less for him to farm. And largely, it's just off of that gank and the implied pressure. So that's going to pull River over. River's going to have to help him reset this wave and get it back into a better spot.
And I think this is really, really good from FlyQuest, right? Recognizing exactly where 100 Thieves do want to get ahead, setting up Quad for success, which again has been a hallmark of their play, especially in playoffs.
Yeah, and just everyone being called over here. Busio was missing for bot. They don't know where Inspired is, so they had to call up Eyla as well. So 3 members here from 100 Thieves trying to fix this wave.
And basically all of the moves have been seen on vision except for the Inspired attempted gank. Good job by the observers. They actually zoomed out and you saw that red ward in the FlyQuest jungle that saw them coming over and saw Inspired trying to get there for a second counter gank. So everybody was well informed on this and just called over the actual resources necessary to get Quid his shove in, to get him his recall, since, as you mentioned, very vulnerable without the flash is going to be a point of continued aggression. And so we'll continue to see the fight over the mid lane vision as Void Grubs will be started out by Amumu. Very, very good champion at taking these Void Grubs very quickly, especially since Inspired was able to get his full Faded Ashes on his first recall. Level 5 comes back out and immediately is able to take them all.
And they just have so much topside pressure off of this Renekton being able to push the Cassante in, right? Like, Bwipo was already proxy farming. It's just a really good setup. Again, I think this is such a great early game from FlyQuest because of how unstable and chaotic 100 Thieves really do like to make their early games.
And you can see it in just the laning phase gold advantage for FlyQuest, plus the extra little bit of gold that you do get off those Void Grubs. Quite nice for them. So strong laning phase gets them their gold lead. It is, in the end, of course, going to be objectives traded on the map, though, since they were alerted to Amumu's presence on the top side. So very standard opening here, but you are right to compliment FlyQuest on their opening. I think especially Inspired's early move to stick around, not go for a recall, get that flash, and you can tell he's looking for it again. This is going to be 3 times he will be around on this top side of the map, and he's actually going to be able to steal away this red this time.
Yeah, and we'll see how much more he can get. They did actually have a ward put over on their Raptors by Quid to try to defend that, but with Bwipo playing between the towers, Cassante can't really respond nearly as fast. They have so much pressure here on that top side and through mid as well, where they have more than a kill worth of gold in the advantage of Quad thanks to that early gank from Inspired.
And River knows that he has to be very careful when retaking this side of the map because the Renekton's have been pushing so heavily. Bwipo really affords that extra threat for FlyQuest, and so River doesn't even go into his red quadrant of the jungle, knowing that that's where Inspired definitely was. They see him now as he passes through, and so he's trying to cross.
Yeah, he's actually pinging that he wants to go in for the enemy Raptors, but Inspired is crossing Raptors to Raptors, and engage on the bot side is going to be the cleanse coming out from Tomo. Nice sidestep on the arrow, and that should be the end of the fight. As they are going to look for a re-engage now. Flash forward, and there's no cleanse available. The magical journey, it's not going to get him to safety. Is he going to survive? No. Massu able to finish him off, even with that heal coming through from the Bard.
Busio is dialed in. He's not going to let you get away with that. They burn the cleanse. They actually wait out the timer for the extra CC reduction too. And then he immediately into the ultimate and hits this flash plus stun. And then the Zenith Blade actually catches him while he's still going through magical
going all
journey.
Out onto Bwipo. Bwipo going to have to flash to safety. Does the flash follow come from Sniper? He's going to look for it. Flashes in. The Dominus is popped to try to survive. But Sniper wants more. Not going to be able to find it, though, as Bwipo does have the stun and the disengage. Sniper looking again. Barely misses on the Intofo strikes.
He definitely wanted to go in on that. I really love this response from Sniper as well, recognizing where the rest of FlyQuest are on the map, seeing if he can get something out of it. But on that bot side, to your point, Kobe, we've talked a lot about Massu and his improvement and how good he's been on this Ashe. Busio, in tandem with him, this bot lane together has improved so much over this spring, especially in 2v2 situations like that.
Yeah, you love to see the punish. When teams are going to pick Ezreal with a cleanse and try and let their Bard roam, Busio and Massu just stepping up and not letting him have it. Now the crab fight.
Yeah, River's in trouble here. He's already engaged on, does proc the phase rush and is able to flash out. But it's these advantages that are building and building FlyQuest. It just feels like they want to play a slow, measured game and take whatever 100 Thieves gives them.
And this is exactly what you want to do with these early Ashe picks. I mean, massive respect to the Rookie of the Year Massu and Busio, his lane partner. It's been such a huge story for FlyQuest that their young bottom lane has actually been a point of power, even throughout international play for them. And here's another look at them. Surprising Tomo. Tomo very clearly thought that they were recalled already, and so felt like he could quickly push out the wave, but that was the cool re-engage.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is he was able to level up. He knew how close he was to 6, was able to get that ultimate off to stop them. And this is something you see Busio do a lot, sometimes even in isolation where he'll go up topside as well and just wait in a brush on something like the Leona to try to get
mid.
the
The
pick.
Bard ult does connect, but do they even have the damage? There's not a lot of follow-up. The True Shot Barrage comes through and knocks onto 2. Quad is forced to flash, but now the onto River, and he has no flash and no way out. Inspired takes him down. They got the grubs as well. They're going to go back in on Tomo, but Inspired has bitten off more than he can chew. He's going to have to flash out defensively. Everyone's showing up for the scuffle mid.
Yeah, I was inspired that I was surprised that Inspired wanted to go continue.
You were inspired by his optimism.
I was inspired, yeah.
That was a nice arcane shift from Tomo, trying to bring him under tower, and getting their Amumu flash actually is big, but Inspired still very much ahead in this game. Gets his Leandries completed afterwards too. He is the first completed item on his team. Maokai, of course, with the cheaper option, with the locket being completed. But here's a look at the replay and the setup too. Actually had vision there. So they got early vision. And so that was the call of the extra people coming through afterwards. But pretty nice little Maokai bump there to actually put them in for the double stun from the Bard. Still ends up being a very good counter gank here for the members of FlyQuest. Getting the early alert and that vision, just they allowed them to call the extra people over a couple seconds early.
And this is now 6 grubs going the way of FlyQuest. They have been the ones with the pushing lanes here. They have a 2.5k gold lead already. Things looking excellent for FlyQuest. 100 Thieves have built themselves a bit of a hole, and we'll have to see if they can dig themselves out of it.
And that's another, I guess, it was more often with the Ziggs compositions that 100 Thieves are heavily prioritizing getting the 6 grubs, but it's another thing that I think FlyQuest have recognized that they do like to fight over. We talked about how aggressive this team is, how much they love to fight specifically over grubs because of the timing, because it can give you a good setup on that. And FlyQuest have done such a good job, again, of making this much slower and stable. And it's kind of similar to that interview Inspired had right before the C9 series.
Yeah, they're going thrown in, though, and he is going to get defensively barred ulted. We'll see if Quid can find a way out here. Quad doesn't have a flash to follow. He flashed the ulti in defense, and it is just going to disengage because Inspired, he will show up. So flash forced, but he does survive.
So it's interesting, if you saw the little movement from Quid right before the play went off, he was just about to slide in and go for a play, but Busio caught him there. So they do get the flash and the ultimate down. Still is going to be 100 Thieves starting up this dragon, though. They have teleport, so Quid can get right back.
Yeah, and even though Inspired is here, oh, here we go. Yeah, there, Busio, again, just he's waiting in a brush. He recognizes when he can go in. The defensive Bard ult comes down, but yeah.
Yeah, so there's actually like pretty good reaction from Quid. Like he immediately reacted, but still got stunned up. He was trying to dash away from the ultimate, but Leona pinpoint accuracy there and couldn't get far enough away. So nicely done. Still 2 dragons, 400 Thieves is kind of the cost that FlyQuest have paid for their topside focus.
And you have to say, I think it's paying off for FlyQuest because it does feel like they're going to be in a position where they can fight at this next dragon, and that's going to be a pivotal moment in the game here. 400 Thieves. They've given up a lot to get these early dragons, and they have to be able to make good on that. They have to be able to try to threaten a soul. Also, an unfortunate soul spawn for them, as it is going to be Chemtech, which is definitely the least desirable.
Yeah, I mean, FlyQuest are in such a good spot to fight from here on out. They've made sure that every single one of their leaders is ahead across the board, have netted a neat almost 3K gold lead. And I'm really curious to see, again, Busio out on this map trying to set up traps to go in on fights.
River. Zenith Blade does connect. River caught out here and could be in a lot of trouble. The Bardal comes through trying to be defensive. Is going to use that Maokai ultimate for a disengage. Can Quid get enough damage through onto Busio to force anything? Doesn't look like it. Both sides, again, will back off, but it is just the ulti force, nothing else from River.
I mean, Busio is just so tanky on this Leona and goes in with the Aftershock. Meanwhile, the Maokai on phase rush.
Oh, Sniper found an angle. He's going to go all out. Doesn't quite get him into the tower, but Bwipo has to run. We'll see if he can chase him down. Slice, dice. He's out to safety. Does cause him the ulti, but Sniper putting on some good pressure here in that 1v1.
And one thing I also want to call out from these kind of trap plays that FlyQuest have been setting up, especially with Busio's Leona, is that even if they are only getting ultimates out, those are ultimates that they then, 100 Thieves, cannot use offensively, right? We saw how much River was able to set up on this Maokai. They keep forcing him to use the Maokai ult and then Eyla's Bard ult defensively instead of being able to use it to initiate a fight.
And speaking of ult economy, you know, if you're trying to fight this third dragon for 100 Thieves, you kind of need to force Quad to use his ultimate on the other side. He has that Sky's Descend, the evolved ultimate on the Azael is ready to go and is so hard to take a committed 5v5 if that is available. So we'll see if we force some sort of a skirmish to get that out. Otherwise, it's going to be tough.
And because they don't have anyone for FlyQuest soaking bottom lane right now, there's going to be a little bit of an opening for 100 Thieves. Azir was able to push on bottom side first, and so Quad had to go down to answer. Doesn't have his teleport ready, and so they kind of fish around looking for some vision control in this river that is so critical. This river between mid and bottom lane is like the gank highway, and so whoever has control of the gank highway, you know, has the little bit of advantage there. But honestly, this topside focus from FlyQuest is going to continue to pay off. Like the Void objectives give you so much gold early in tower plates, and they should be able to pick up this Herald no problem well before this Dragon number 3 fight even starts to become an issue. That's going to be an interesting flash, though.
Yeah.
Ayla's Bard ultimate. Now they can't use the Bard ultimate to deny a Rift Herald charge if that is used soon, but they can punish Quad with no flash.
Yeah, I do like this response from 100 Thieves trying to get at least some damage on this turret bot side. Arrow goes wide.
Yep, not going to be able to connect on the arrow, but something fun to talk about has been, you know, the amount of young talent that has been coming up through the NACL. You know, for all the teams that are actually playing this weekend, 8 out of 15 of the participants did play in the NACL, and a lot of the big stars playing as well. So it has been really nice to see some of these teams that have been committing to developing that young talent really have it pay off, not just for players in supporting roles, but for players that are becoming the new stars, and now they're looking for Quad. No flash available. He gets stunned into the wall. True Shot Barrage is there. He's dead already, and Bwipo could be next. Sniper goes all out. They're going to look for the redive here. Maokai ultimate coming through. It's a 4v1, making a 5v1. He is down. The Croc gets eaten alive in the bot lane.
Yeah, and while FlyQuest will be able to get this first turret mid down for Massu, that's such a great setup for 100 Thieves that was all off of that blown quad flash earlier in the bot side jungle.
And I think even in the losing side of that play for FlyQuest, Quad does not waste his ult, which is very critical with Aurelion Sol, because you really do have to, take a while to stack up the supercharged ultimate. But his thought process here is, I am dead, so I'm saving this for the dragon fight. So that makes me think that FlyQuest will fight Dragon number 3 to stop the dragon stacking from 100 Thieves. But still, it's a very good call for 100 Thieves, because FlyQuest have been investing so heavily in the Rift Herald side and the Void Grub side of the map. They send everybody bottom side. And even though, as you pointed out afterwards, Emily, they do trade their mid tower, so it's going to be tower for tower, they get the extra kills, they get a play on their turn.
Oh, re-engage. Eyla going to have to flash the ulti there. They're not going to be able to find more, but that is flash down on Tomo and Eyla, and it looks like the heal, so we did miss a little bit of the start of that exchange, but all the summoners getting forced here from the 100 Thieves bot lane could be problematic, and River as well. Kind of slowly walking this one back towards Quid. Will they look for a re-engage here? A sniper on the other side gets caught by the Amumu ulti, but that is a tanky Cassante. Can he get out? Gonna have to flash over the wall, and on the other side, Bwipo is getting chained down, but in comes Quad with the falling skies here defending him. Amumu gets the kill onto Cassante, and it is the only loss in the fight. True Shot Barrage gonna get thrown up towards top, but nothing there for him. That is the ulti expended. Can there be a re-engage now? River gonna look with the Maokai ultimate here onto Quad. He's gotta run. Busio does block for his mid laner, but they push up. They will be able to knock down this tier 1 tower here. Dragon has spawned. Neither team is heading down for it just yet.
And that was a really nice, kind of who is going to be able to tank up this damage first, right? Between the Renekton and the Cassante. They are able to get the kill on Sniper, but I actually really did like 100 Thieves' response right here as this was happening in mid lane at the same time. Oh, okay, so Massu arrowed Tomo, and then, and then Leona ult goes wide. This stretches out a lot further. And here's what I was talking about with, on this side of the fight, on the left side of the fight, you have Bwipo soaking up all this damage. Meanwhile, they catch onto Sniper, and Bwipo is able to survive with Quad coming in and laying down that massive Aurelion Sol ult cleared out.
Exactly. The Aurelion Sol kind of covering the escape for Bwipo, and now the dragon.
Yeah, Tomo going to be pushed over the wall. He does have the cleanse, is going to be able to get out of there, but now no summoners left here on Tomo. That did cost them the Leona ulti. 100 Thieves has focus here on the dragon, Inspired in range to try to steal it. Is going to get bound up here. Not going to be able to grab it though. Third dragon does go their way, and now Massu caught by the Bard ulti. Bwipo threatening on the side, looking for Eyla, but the magical journey takes him to safety. In goes Inspired. It's a 3-man ulti. It's only on the front line, but can they get away? Doesn't look like it. Quid's gonna scoop him back, and on the side, Bwipo is chasing Tomo, pushes him out of the fight. They get the dragon, but they lose members here. And can FlyQuest go to Baron or get something else is the real question.
Well, they've got their Rift Herald that they popped at the beginning of the fight in mid lane, so it has actually passively pushed the mid lane for them. And they're actually sending the Aurelion Sol up to the top side, everybody just getting reset. So it looks like it's just gonna be minions pushed out in the aftermath.
And on the back half of that fight, again, credit to Bwipo's setup to be able to really make sure that he was getting into the back line as we watch Quad trying to get on to Tomo, and then Bwipo making sure later on the backside, we see the little Herald driving in. I don't think Quid or Quad should be allowed to drive Herald.
Nope, the Herald then just going off on its own business as the rest of the fight broke out. And even with the super blast cone there blasting the Renekton back, it's Inspired who's able to keep up the chase. And so Inspired's able to get a big ultimate utilizing the flash to chase down a couple members. Double kill for the Aurelion Sol is not what 100 Thieves want to see. So even though 100 Thieves were able to acquire their third dragon for the dragon stacking, extra money into the Aurelion Sol. The question mark is for his questionable driving, but still got paid.
He can drive the dragon.
Yeah,
that's more important.
There you go. He can drive the Aurelion Sol, well piloted to get the kills. The Rift Herald might take a little bit more practice.
Might need to go back for that learner's permit, you know?
Well, I mean, it was Quid last time, right? Who was, as we see Bwipo getting this tier 1 bot. It was Quid last time who did
Quid versus Quad.
the circle, and their greatest challenge is the Rift Herald.
It's true, exactly.
I think the coolest thing, too, is that with these outer towers down, FlyQuest, with the amount of engage that they have, should have a pretty easy time setting up well before the Dragon Soul fight actually gets there, and then looking for engages on 100 Thieves. I honestly think 100 Thieves might just give up that next dragon and try and trade something elsewhere.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the setup is going to look for, like that, because we have seen a lot of trading back and forth. The summoner economy, the ult economy is so important prior to these big fights. Also something we haven't touched on yet, but Eyla did use it earlier, was that first item Mikhail's that he grabbed. He saw that used on Tomo earlier, so now it is the Mikhail's and the cleanse that you have to track both of them. They have good answers for the Ashe arrow, for the Leona ulti that could be coming through. Bwipo, potential to get chased down, but it looks like Bard is going to back off, and it's just going to be the Dominus forced here. And Bwipo should be able to walk this one out.
Meanwhile, they're contesting vision leading up to Baron too, and you see the Aurelion Sol kind of threatening a roam down, but Quad will return as another minion wave on top side requires his attention. Got to keep those stacks up, keep acquiring the Stardust so that you can scale into the late game monster that we all know and love.
Yeah, and this does give 100 Thieves a little bit of time to push up for vision here. We'll see if they're looking for something. Yeah,
Inspired goes fishing with the bandage toss and forces the flash there from Eyla. Was nervous about getting caught. Of course, he is pretty squishy with that Mikhail's rush here. Has Merc Treads, has a little bit of HP. But if you do get CC'd up, you are going to be going down. River and him are fighting for it. Oof. Nice try on the ulti, but it's a swing and a miss. When you're that close, you can just basically point and click it. You don't really have to predict. You can't really dodge without a flash from that close. The windup on the Azael fly is too slow to get out, but Eyla maybe didn't have perfect vision and tried to predict where his opponent was going to go.
Currently now, Bwipo on his two favorite items.
Eyla caught out now. Zenith Blade connects. Can he get through the magical journey? He can. The self Mikhail's there comes through from Eyla to get out of that route and get back to safety. These tools, though, are being forced ever so slowly. Now no flash, no Mikhail's on Eyla, no ulti on Eyla. And that could be a concern as the dragon is coming up in 50 seconds. You talked about, Kobe, they might not want to fight it, and this could push them even more to going elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, I think a bit of concern for 100 Thieves is the Renekton. Bwipo, once you do get your Black Cleaver and Sterix combination, this is where he plays really, really ham in the team fights, as well as being able to get side lane priority. So 100 Thieves have had to really utilize Quid as the split pusher, the Azir here, with the extra range and the safety, because Sniper is a little bit behind, around 900 to 1,000 gold behind in the individual side lane matchup. But it is going to be a full recall, reset, and teleport out for Quad. So the Aurelion Sol is arriving with a spell shield on.
Oh, Inspired is spotted. They're going to try to go for him on the side, but on the other side, it's Busio engaging on Tomo. Tomo taking a lot of damage. He doesn't want to go through the magical journey because Bwipo's waiting there, and River's knocked down as Massu and Quad go forward. Bwipo flashes in. The skies descend, and it's right onto the head of 100 Thieves. They are running, but they can't get out fast enough. Two members do fall. The jungle and the mid die. The dragon will be taken by FlyQuest, and you have to think they could get even more after it.
Yeah, really well set up. Again, Bwipo was here in the brush on that ward as he was coming in, being like, you kind of want to jump on me, right? Like, you want to go in. They funnel everyone into a really good spot mid. Inspired is able to come around for the flank, and then again, Quad, we knew he would be in such a great position coming into these team fights with the damage on the Aurelion Sol. They're going to easily get Baron off of this, and they should. FlyQuest, whoa! That was pretty close.
My heart is pumping right there. Like, as a jungle, you definitely feel that one. Timing pretty close from Tomo, but not good enough. FlyQuest secure it. Inspired handles it, and now they're trying to push for tower.
Yeah, we'll see if they want to try to look for a dive here. Eyla wrapping around behind him, can't finding onto the tower. Now they're going to look for Eyla. That's a swing and a miss, but Eyla going to get engaged on. Tries for the self Mikhail's. It just doesn't matter. And the Ashe arrow from downtown hits onto Quid. He's going to be sent packing there as Massu pushes him back.
The three-person defense was beautiful. I want to point out Quad's position on where he put the black hole for Aurelion Sol. It sucked the minions away from the tower range, and FlyQuest, not only do they get the team fight victory into the Baron, they get free access right into the base.
Quid's got no flash, and they get in onto him. He's stunned up, and he is gone. The mid laner has fallen for 100 Thieves. Tomo trying to hold the line here with the rest of his team, but they don't have a lot of wave clear. They don't have a lot of pressure. In goes Inspired. Wow. It's a three-man ulti, and you have to think That could be it for game number 1. Massu pushing them back. They're going to march on the Nexus towers. Tomo, River, Sniper healing up in the fountain, but one tower has fallen. They're targeting the second. Sniper and River have got to go forward. They're going to look for Bwipo. Can they actually knock him down? The tower's about to fall. The tower is gone, and so is River. Sniper pulls him back into the fountain, gets 1 kill, but the target is on the Nexus. They can't stop him. FlyQuest take game number 1.
What a great game 1 from FlyQuest. It really felt like they understood exactly how 100 Thieves want to play these games, had all the answers for it. Busio and Massu on this pick lane of Leona and Ashe is so deadly coming out of FlyQuest, and as soon as they got the Baron, they were able to close out.
The majority of the plays the entire game coming from FlyQuest. Bottom lane playing well, inspired as well on this Amumu, really leading the team. FlyQuest absolutely controlled in game number 1, whereas 100 Thieves, even starting out with the level 1 face check, already starting the series a little bit on the back foot, a little bit behind. They have to calm down here because FlyQuest look like the team to beat.
Absolutely, adjustments will need to be made by 100 Thieves, and we're going to hear from the lounge of what they think those should be.
Thanks, Azael. Game 1 in the books. Bwipo, confident but calm walk, I think.
Yes, I think so. That's why Bwipo walked in right there.
So, Sven, what were your big takeaways here from game 1?
I think first thing is the draft. I feel like FlyQuest came in with a good plan. Ban Rail, ban 6, go 4-5, ban Misfortune, ban Kai'Sa. Actually, that was 100 Thieves ban, but still. I think it was really obvious that the ball lane of 100 Thieves didn't look very comfortable playing this Ezreal Bard. I think their first time in both champions in playoffs. I haven't seen either of them play those champs at all. And I think it showed why they haven't played those champs, perhaps. I think FlyQuest bot lane played a lot better, especially in the early game, and it was a big part of why FlyQuest were always in control of the game, because they were just winning bot the whole game.
Yeah, that was the toughest part for me. We were going through the draft and watching it. I was like, Bard would be perfect here. We've seen some Bard play where it actually makes sense. You're going up against like Aurelion Sol and Ashe. Those are pretty immobile targets. The early game really sucked because I guess he early ranked Q, so he wasn't able to use E at all. So yeah, exactly that too.
This is tilting to watch. I knew you had to flash immediately when you got hit by the Q of Leona, right? Unless you want skill portal, and then you just didn't, and still died. Full flashed and still died.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ended up being a slow start, and then I actually felt like there was a moment in the game where 100 Thieves might have been able to win. It reminded me a little bit of game 1 of the C9 series, where they picked for scaling, actually did outscale, and then they went back to their normal selves for the rest of the series. Another thing about this one was just Massu as well. Having a great early game. Every solo laner here, Raz, and this is at 8 minutes.
And this is an Aurelion Sol.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not supposed to win early game.
8 minutes of the game, both for both top lane and bot lane. Bot lane obviously was struggling simply of the fact that you died, lost flash. That first kill went towards Ashe. Mid lane was an interesting one because Inspired did pay a visit early, gets the flash off Azir. They freeze the wave. They actually needed help from both River and the Bard, Eyla, to be able to come in and unbreak that freeze. It was just real struggles happening in the first 8 minutes of the game. I was like, is this series going to be like this? That was my question until the fight started happening.
I mean,
5th fastest? First blood?
With
Who
really
died faster than that? 4 people died faster than that.
That's actually crazy. That's a good quiz.
That's a great
Producers have the answer to that.
For the Renekton point, I'm going back to the draft phase. When Bwipo locked in the first pick Renekton, they immediately had the video of Sniper calling him a Renekton one trick ready to go. Surely 100 Thieves takes blue side, picks Sniper Renekton, unless FlyQuest bans it away, and then makes him run it back on the other side. Because Bwipo's in such a comfort zone now on Renekton for the 10th time this playoffs.
I think they will do this. I think they will as well, but I don't think that was the reason they lost.
Okay.
But I still they will do it because they need Sniper to have some sort of like agency in the game.
Yeah. It was interesting. Well. There were a few moments where he was going to get a solo kill.
It was close.
It was very close. So maybe Sniper says, I liked that angle. I was behind early, but it didn't feel like it. And in team fights, he would maybe think he's more useful. But that even being that said, the Renekton had a lot of strong team fights, especially setting up for the Aurelion Sol ulti. So there are a lot of moments where you can look at the draft and say that could be the biggest change.
Yeah.
For me, it's the Bard, and Bard for me, that was like the change. Yeah.
I think for the Renekton point, it's more about taking away from Bwipo than giving to Sniper.
Yeah.
I think what Bwipo has for answers to Renekton is probably worse than Sniper's answers. I think Sniper's a fine Santa player and he's doing his job this game, not why they lost. But I think Bwipo wouldn't have the same answer So I think that's the biggest takeaway. Give Sniper some more pressure in the lane phase, give him some tools to carry. Also, Bwipo is a great team fighter on Renekton. So many fights, flash stuns one guy, creates space, takes up a lot of damage, and then makes space for Massu and to just do damage.
Yeah, and I feel like when Bwipo recently, because he's been playing a lot more Renekton, when he's been off that champion, we've seen him on the Volibear game, the Olaf game, the Wukong game. They've all been pretty bad and not comparable. I think a lot of that's just like, if you're just in the rhythm and playing that many Renekton games, that can't happen. So probably a good idea to just take it away.
Yeah. You're used to playing Renekton, so every team fight, you feel like you're Renekton at some point.
Yeah. Sven, you mentioned to me during the game that the atmosphere in here was actually
it's great.
really nice.
It's great, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the players. I feel like none of them are necessarily shocked or overwhelmed by the moment as of yet. If 100 Thieves doesn't bounce back in a big way, then I think that could also start playing on their mental. But I think the weird thing about this is they did play well, I'd say, from probably about the 10-minute mark to about that fourth dragon fight when they ended up falling down.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting them to go back to way more of what they played in games 2, 3, and 4 of that Cloud9 series. And
some more fist fighting.
Yeah, it's just really weird to me that the game 1 of the Cloud9 series and this series, they play something completely different than what they're used to. I do wonder if that's some level of strategy because they know they're going to be a little bit tentative in like the first game of a series.
I mean, I don't have a microphone in the room, so I can't tell you, but it might be a confidence thing. You know, it might be like, okay, guys, we've been practicing some control mages, some Ezreal bards, some new champions in case we need them because they will ban Ziggs, they'll ban Rel.
Yeah.
Tried one game, didn't work. All right, back to the drawing board and back to the old fist fighting champs.
Going straight back to
fist
it.
Fight time. We got to check out this week's Pagoda moment, though, featuring 100 Thieves and their bot lane turnaround. This was an interesting play, even though it didn't end up winning the game, just because they had such a long turn. There's 4 to 5 people down here, and FlyQuest had no way to make a play on the other side of the map.
And this is what I loved from 100 Thieves. This is not the first time they did it. They did it again and again, and they bullied Quad on side lanes. And so I love this one. You saw in the mini-map a little bit there, the Amumu looked down bot lane and said, I'm not going to make it in time. We're going to have to trade mid. So if we can see that, 100 Thieves, I think we'll get a series.
It's a good play, but honestly, I think if Bwipo just pushed top, they would have gotten 2 towers in trade 1.
That's
and
true.
Quad killed the wave while he was dying with the E, right? While he was running Ray. So they wouldn't get a tower if they just kept pushing top and mid at the same time. Massu got mid tower in that sequence, so it could have been actually a fine play if FlyQuest if they just gave up Quad. I think.
FlyQuest did do the expected in game 1. They are the big favorites in the series as we're headed to game 2. First, Miss Chim Chim. She has 2 fans who'll be playing to win a Samsung SSD 990 Pro hard drive, and we'll hear from them during the break.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hello?
Bro, what are you parking?
Seriously? What is that?
Remote smart parking assist. You could have parked anywhere.
They could have parked there. They could have parked there. They could have parked there.
Dude, why'd you put your new rig in the basement?
Didn't you hear? Bill's a good gillionaire now.
Basically, my new connection is so strong I can game anywhere. Check it out. We've got gamer rocker, gamer floaty, gamer couch.
Whoa.
It's got wheels.
Gamer bench, gamer throne, and gamer mower.
What's that?
It's hard to game while walking downstairs.
I get it.
That's smart.
Live like a gagillionaire with low latency everywhere. AT&T Fiber with All-Fi.